السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرج آل محمد عليهم السلام. قال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام: إن من تمام الصوم إعطاء الزكاة كما أن الصلاة على النبي وآله من تمام الصلاة. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam in this hadith narration, he stated that indeed among the things which complete one fasting is by giving out Zakatul-Fitrah, similar as to among the things which completes one's prayer is by sending blessings upon the Prophet and his immaculate household alayhi salam. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, as we are all in the latter days within the month of Ramadan, it is very important to remind ourselves about one of the most important acts of worship that it is obligatory upon each and every believer to embark on, which is Zakatul-Fitrah or Sadaqatul-Fitrah. Zakatul-Fitrah is indeed one of the most important acts of worship that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, as well as his immaculate household alayhi wassalam, they have given much emphasis on this particular act of worship. There are some conditions. When they are fulfilled, Zakatul-Fitrah becomes obligatory upon each and every person. What are those conditions? Firstly, among those conditions is that the person whom Zakat-al-Fitrah is obligatory upon is an adult, and we mean adult in according to the Islamic jurisprudential criterion. We don't mean adult according to Western criterion. We mean adult according to Islamic jurisprudential criterion, and it is known the age limit for a male and females and the signs for knowing that someone is an adult in Islamic religion. It is known in the books of jurisprudence, which means that Zakatul-Fitrah, it is not incumbent upon a kid. And the next condition is that the person should be a sane person, and we mean he should not be a lunatic, he should not be an insane person, he should be a sane person. And if this condition too is fulfilled, then the next condition is that the person should be rich. And we mean that the person should be rich not in the sense that he should be rich like Bill Gates, nor he should be rich like Elon Musk. Rather, the person should be rich according to the Islamic jurisprudential criterion in relation to knowing the person who is rich and the person who is poor. And it is noted that a person who is rich according to the Islamic jurisprudential criterion, he is the person who owns his yearly expenses. A person who owns his yearly expenses, the sum amounts to his yearly expenses, then that person in Islamic jurisprudence, he is a rich person. And the next condition is that the person should be a free person, and we mean that he should not be a slave under someone. If someone is a slave, then it is not incumbent upon him to pay Zakat-al-Fitrah. And we know that in these our times, it is very hard for us to get someone who is a slave under someone. And also, that person should not be unconscious at the time that Zakat-al-Fitrah becomes obligatory to be removed. What is the time that it is obligatory to remove Zakat-al-Fitrah? It is said that the time begins at the eve of the day of Eid, which means the evening which precedes the day of Eid. That is the time that it becomes obligatory to remove Zakat al-Fitrah. And it extends up to before the person who will go and pray the Salat al-Eid prays his Salat. So a person who all these conditions are fulfilled on him, it is obligatory to remove his Zakat al-Fitrah for his own self, and also remove Zakat al-Fitrah on all the people who are dependent upon him. So if he is having about 10 dependents, then it is obligatory for him to remove per each and every dependent 1 sa'. The next question is, what are the items that should be removed as Zakatul-Fitrah? The answer to this question is, any food which is widely used by a group of people in a particular country or in a particular province, it is allowed to use it at Sadaqatul-Fitrah. Now the next question is, what is the quantity of food required in giving Zakatul-Fitrah? The quantity of food which is required is 1 sa'. And 1 sa', someone will ask, what is 1 sa'? 1 sa' equates 4 muds, and 4 muds is also not known. But in a nutshell, 1 sa' equates 3 kilograms of any food within any group of people that are being used. So 3 kilograms of each and every food within any particular province, it is allowed to use it as Sadaqatul-Fitrah. Now, what is the time that it becomes obligatory to remove Sadaqatul-Fitrah? The time is the eve of the day of Eid, which is the evening which precedes the day of Eid, up to the day of Eid itself. Before the person who will go and pray the Salat al-Eid go to prayers, before he perform his Salat al-Eid, he should remove this Sadaqatul-Fitrah. But the person who did not perform his Salat al-Eid, then he has the chance to remove it before Zawal, before he prays his Salat al-Dhuhr. This is the time that it is required for a person to remove his Sadaqatul-Fitrah. Now, if a person did not remove his Sadaqatul-Fitrah at that time which is prescribed, then whenever he has the time, it is obligatory upon him to remove. But he is not removing it as Sadaqatul-Fitrah, rather he is giving it out as normal Sadaqah. This is it. Now there is this very important question. When a child is giving birth at the sunset of the day of Eid, is it obligatory to remove his Zakatul-Fitrah? The answer to this question is no. After sunset, it is not obligatory to remove his Zakatul-Fitrah. But if he was given birth before sunset, then it is obligatory to remove his Zakatul-Fitrah. Now the next very important question is, when a child becomes an adult after sunset on the day of Eid, is it obligatory for him to remove his own Zakatul-Fitrah? The answer is no. If it is after sunset, no. But if it is before sunset and all the conditions are fulfilled, then it becomes obligatory upon him to remove his Zakatul-Fitrah if no one removed on his behalf. The next very important thing that should be taken into consideration is that when Zakatul-Fitrah of a person is paid on his behalf, then it is not obligatory for him to pay his own Zakatul-Fitrah. For example, when a father pays the Zakatul-Fitrah of his child and that child is also a grown-up, then it is not obligatory for that child to pay his own Zakatul-Fitrah. This is what it is said. And also, we should note that when a disbeliever becomes a believer after sunset on the day of Eid, then it is not obligatory upon him to pay Zakatul-Fitrah. But when he became a Muslim before sunset on the day of Eid, then it becomes incumbent upon him to pay the Zakatul-Fitrah when all those conditions they are fulfilled. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.